Hello, everyone, and welcome here to Speed Runners Arena, and welcome into the first of the round three Swiss matchups here in the 2021 SMRAT tournament. I am Ferran Burgundy. I'll be bringing you the voice to the action here tonight as we have a pair of one-on-one competitors getting things started tonight as we have Farfelu taking on Slow Guy. So both of them one-on-one in their first 2 weeks of Swiss competition. They're both looking to go to 2-1, but only one of them shall. And we will see over the course of probably the next 60 to 90 minutes or so. So for those unfamiliar, this is Super Metroid Randomizer, and that means that the items are going to be, they're going to be shuffled around all the various points of Super Metroid in a randomized fashion. So we shall see here how things go. Now, the logic dictates that you don't need a whole lot of fancy tricks to be able to complete the seed, but given that this is a tournament, you're going to see some things that are not expected if you are new to the game, and I'll point those out as we go along here, but it looks like we are ready to get things started, and I do see Music75, our tracker. Hello to you as well, as we are getting things going. So our runners, they're going to make their way down to the traditional morph ball location, which you would see in the vanilla game, and the logic dictates that the morph ball will be there as well, because that requires you to, roll into a ball and get into some little spaces, as we see Alice in here. And one of those tricks that I mentioned, Slow Guy executing rather quickly in an ironic fashion what is known as a moonfall. And that allowed him to take a little bit of a lead here, but things are still in the very, very early going, so we shall see here. So they're going to go down the elevator into Brinstar, and they will head off to the left and pick up their respective morph balls. And that will allow them to get into those one-block spaces, as you see Slow Guy doing there. And now we're going to take a look at the construction zone spot here. Usually has missiles to start. This time it has an energy tank. So that will allow for perhaps a little bit more risk of play for our runners, as they may do things having that extra energy that they generally wouldn't do this early in the game. So here's another out of logic get, and oh boy, is it a goodie. The ceiling having the charge beam, and both of them are going to take, Slow Guy taking advantage of that, Farfelu having a little bit of trouble, and we have some super missiles just beyond that here. So that early charge beam is definitely going to help out. But Slow Guy really getting a challenge here, and just missing out, and is going to have to now. Farfelu will okay. He's going to go back in and give it another try here. Perhaps build a little bit more energy, trying to take that damage boost in, and gets it there first try back into the room. Meanwhile, Slow Guy heading back up into Crateria, passes the old Mother Brain location. No power bombs, so we can't get there. And now back into the climb tower to see what else can be found. Farfelu now also up the elevator, but trailing just a little bit after that struggle with the trick to get the charge beam out of the ceiling. So Slow Guy, I would imagine, going to head over to... Well, let's see here. That's right, I forgot. No bombs, no access to the 230 missile location, but is going to head into where the logic dictates there will definitively be some sort of accessible bomb, whether it's the power bomb or the regular bomb. In this case, it is the power bomb at the Bomb Chorizo location. So that's good, because that means no bonus material fight in this case here. Now, Slow Guy opting to get out. That's another, or I should say, a trick that is not expected of newer runners. It's what's known as Alcatraz, able to jump up and roll into a ball to not have to use one of those power bombs. And now is going to go on in and go to the 230 missile location, where we have regular bombs. So there could, based on that early placement, could be a good possibility of some infinite bomb jumps maybe being in logic here. Lord of the Synth, nah, not exactly. Farfelu actually looks to be trailing in this case here, as far as the checks go. Farfelu ran into a little bit of trouble getting the charge beam that was in the ceiling, so that allowed Slow Guy to get a little bit of a lead here, and now Slow Guy is doing some continuous wall jumps here, and it looks like we are going to see the infinite bomb jump attempt up to the landing power bomb location, the Crateria landing. So we shall certainly see. Meanwhile, Farfelu picking up the bombs in the 230 location. Yeah, this is a rather heads-up play here, avoiding some of the more traditional locations. And here we're going to see our divergence of paths right off the bat about 5.5 minutes in, as Farfelu going to head into Terminator here and pick up an ice beam. Meanwhile, Slow Guy glancing at and passing up on what was in the beam location there, or the power bomb location, I should say. Looked like it was just a set of missiles, wanted nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, it looked like a pair of super missiles up in the back of Gauntlet. So we have a question in chat. Is the morph ball bombing in logic for these flags? Yes, it is, much to my chagrin. So some may do some jumps to get beyond there, and some may do the traditional pathing that you see here, as now Slow Guy is going to let us see what is at the front of Gauntlet here. But yes, the early ice and early charge does make things a little bit easier. And as Slow Guy goes through, we're going to see a mock ball through here, I should say. And this is an out-of-logic check as well. And we've got a set of missiles as well as an energy tank. And another set of missiles. And I believe that was some super missiles that were in front there. And speaking of super missiles, we have supers over at the front of Gauntlet as well. So the Gauntlet is extremely super. Thanks for asking. And thank you for the raid, Spuds McKenzie. Welcome on into Speed Runners Arena. And oh, wow, we've got Varia suit right 7.5 minutes in at the early super location. So already things coming rather quickly here, as we've got Varia suit up in the early super locations. That's an out-of-logic check. Normally Speed Booster would be required to obtain that. And Slow Guy, meanwhile, going to see the pair of super missiles for the back Gauntlet check, as Farfelu is in Edicoons, and we've got a missile in front here. And a missile behind the door as well. Okay, a little bit of damage boost on Farfelu's part to be able to launch through the room. Trifecta of them, and there's Slow Guy picking up the ice beam. And let's see what we have up here. We've got some power bombs. in the upper part of Edekun's. And farfelu with a little trouble rolling out of there. I believe you have to do a mock ball to the left to be able to just roll from the left pathway there onto the right without falling down. I can't say I've ever done it. And Stratlog, our restreamer, noting that the Bombs Gauntlet, quite the skills, did not really pay off a ton, or we'll see anyway. Yes, mock ball is required to save that fall. That's what I figured, which explains why I personally can't do it. But that's why I'm here in the commentator's booth. All right, now into Pink Brinstar. Got a couple of checks here. We've got some super missiles up top. And now heading into the Mission Impossible room, as it's known, because apparently, I have no idea how, but there is a way to get the item and then jump back up into that section. Meanwhile, Slow Guy now moonfalling into the Edekun's there. Show my running some way or another. It's more like limping along here, but we have a wavegate skip glitch here that is being attempted on farfelu. Apparently, if you shoot a super missile up into the wavegate at a particular time and angle, you're able to open it without having the wave beam, and it results in an energy tank. So that's a little vanilla this time around here. Yeah, generally runners tend to have an easier time with it if they have high jump boots, although it is able to be done, as you saw there, without the high jump boots. And now it looks like we're going to see another out-of-logic trick being utilized here on farfelu's side. It's what's known as the Spore Spawn skip. It's a way to kind of back your way into this area and get the one check that's here without having to fight the mini-boss Spore Spawn. And that also has an energy tank. So thus far, a pretty interesting mix and a little bit of a divergence here, and we'll see who that benefits. Although as far as the key items, pretty even, as you can see on the tracker screen there. And we have some power bombs. As well as some missiles in the charge beam section. Now, Slow Guy's going to go ahead and attempt the wavegate skip, and got it done before I could even get the words out of my mouth. And there's some missiles on the pipe, so that is vanilla as well, and that's going to be left alone. And looks like farfelu going to try yes, is going to utilize a jump that's not all that easy to get through and to that upper area. And we've got missiles in the blue Brinstar PB location. And it looks like farfelu is going to potentially head on over to what's known as Billy Mays. A section beyond the start here. It usually requires a few power bombs to be able to get up to this section, and you like to have gravity suits so you don't deal with the water if your jump into this room goes awry. But there is an invisible ledge, and there it is, farfelu landing on it. And we've got high jump boots. A very nice find, but wait, there's more. Act now, and we will throw in some super missiles at no extra charge. And yes, chat noting as well that another check that will be more than likely taken care of here by Farfelu will be heading up the elevator and checking the old Mother Brain location utilizing the bombs or power bombs here. So now you could argue that Farfelu has a slight lead in terms of exploration, but I don't know. Slow Guy taking the time to go up to Gauntlet and get the 15 super missiles that were up there. Meanwhile, Farfelu fell a little behind early on with a bit of difficulty getting the charge beam out of the ceiling. Oh, well, okay. I stand corrected. He skipped Old Mother Brain, so maybe that'll be something that gets squared away later. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe that is something that could theoretically make the difference. As Farfelu now heading on into Red Tower. Now, he has the ice beam. Is he going to make the climb? No, he is dropping a bomb and is going to go into the lower path and head a little bit closer to Kraid. As the high jump boots, I believe they were in logic, so that does put Kraid, one of the 4 bosses, into logic. But first, we are going to see what is in the vanilla Spazer room as Slow Guy gets his high jump boots. And it is some supers, and Farfelu is going to pick them up. Now, for those just joining us, boy, did you miss a heck of a start over the course of the first 16 minutes, as we already have Varia Suit, Ice Beam, we have traditional bombs, we've got the Charge Beam, High Jump Boots, all found within the first 16 minutes. And Farfelu more than likely, is going to head on over towards Kraid. Now, will Slow Guy take the elevator up? Slow Guy passing on Old Mother Brain as well. Both runners perhaps waiting until they have the speed booster to maybe also knock out the tower super check as well. And we have some missiles in that little hidden section, and we're going to already see our first of the 4 bosses before taking on Mother Brain. Little damage boost on Farfelu's part. And we'll see. Will it be a quick kill, which is another not expected for novice runners trick? We shall see. Or will Kraid end up standing up to full height and what is being known as going to prom? Looks like we're going to have a prom visit on Farfelu's side, and Slow Guy opting to go up the Red Tower. So yes, another divergence here. But while it isn't the quick kill pre-standing up, still a pretty nice find here. And let's see. All right, we have missiles and more missiles, and we have a reserve tank in what's known as the Alpha Room. So already almost all of Brinstar has been checked between our 2 runners here. The Beta Power Bomb room, which Slow Guy is more than likely going to make his way up to now. And let's see what is in the Cricket room after Kraid normally has an E-Tank. It's the Gravity Suit! Wow! Meanwhile, another reserve tank in the Beta room. So, I mean, things certainly going in Farfelu's favor here. So yeah, 19 minutes in, and both suits, both suits have already been found. We have charge, we have ice. This is looking pretty good in the early going. That is as much as I will say, so I don't provide any type of commentator curse. So some missiles that are going to be ignored in the high jump E tank location. And farfelu going to pick up the supers in the high jump boots location. And then we have yet another reserve tank in the high jump missile location. So already 3 of the tanks having been found here, but granted it's pretty early on here, but technically farfelu, while maybe getting a little bit more ammo, is in go mode. It may take a while. It's not a comfortable go mode, but it's a go mode nonetheless. As Slow Guy now heading on over to Kraid. Yeah, charge and ice, 200 shots on Mother Brain. I don't think I would feel all that great about that. And there's some supers in the lava room. So as crazy as it is to think, the decision to run Gauntlet, at least at this point in the race, may have been something that potentially cost Slow Guy here, but there is still a lot of race to go and a lot of things that can certainly happen. I believe we had power bombs there in the bubble missile location. It was definitely a blink and you miss it type situation. And both of our runners going to prom tonight, as Slow Guy getting Kraid to stand up as well. And yes, looking quickly at an instant replay, it looks as though it was power bombs in that location. So farfelu doing a little bit of farming as Slow Guy takes out Kraid. So 1 of the 4 bosses down a piece. And Slow Guy just moments away from picking up his gravity suit. So farfelu's going to head on down here to Lower Norfair with 4 energy tanks and I believe 1 reserve. Kids, don't try this at home. This is definitely something unexpected. Usually you need space jump to get up to this point, but utilizing a trick with the gravity suit, turns it off, turns it back on. Yeah, the floor is indeed lava. And another divergence here is Slow Guy is going to head into Meridia. So we have Main Street missiles being vanilla. And we have some power bombs in the Main Street super location. Meanwhile, farfelu about to head into... I thought was going to head into the tower here. Oh, is going to farm some power bombs, it looks like. Not a bad play. Meanwhile, Slow Guy is heading into Mother Turtle. Or Mama Turtle. And there's 2 checks there. We've got super missiles up top. as Farfelu heads into the worst room of the game, and we've got vanilla missiles in Mama Turtle's room. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do an infinite bomb jump with those flames being shot at me from those rather noted heads there. All right, Farfelu denying me the satisfaction of a meme Mickey Mouse check. And it looks like Slow Guy going to utilize that same gravity suit technique to be able to get up into that location. And Farfelu is heading on down toward Ridley, one of the 4 bosses. So Slow Guy's going to head up into the beach area. 3 checks here in Yellow Meridia. We've got super missiles in the false wall. And then 2 more checks up top. Well, it's certainly an interesting question as far as the checks, and we've got an E-tank and some missiles. Meanwhile, in the power bombs of shame, we've got missiles there as well. So now into the metal pirate room is Farfelu. 3 super missiles quickly taking that out. And it's interesting to see. I mean, maybe Slow Guy. I'm not sure if Slow Guy knows how to ice clip, and maybe that's why he feels that Meridia is the way to go, since it's something different. Oh, he can definitely finish the seed from here. Okay. So Slow Guy's going to do a couple of sandpit checks, as Farfelu, meanwhile, is farming up some energy and super missiles before going on to Ridley. Slow Guy, I didn't see which... this must be the left sandpit. Oh, wow! Grapple Beam and Speed Booster! What a heck of a find. Gonna leave the Grapple Beam behind, interestingly enough. I guess Slow Guy figures with speed, you don't really need grapple for anything. I figure it doesn't hurt to have an extra tool in the toolbox, especially since... Well, I don't know. Maybe those 8 seconds of fanfare is a thing. And yes, Stralog noting, these runners, as always, were not given the seed in advance, so this is no spoiler-type run or anything of that nature. They are making decisions of their own volition, and... Rando gonna rando. Sometimes you make the right call, sometimes you make a questionable call, and in this case, Slow Guy making a gutsy call that turned out to play in his favor, and it looks like now he is going to head down into Norfair. And has a little quicker access, being able to utilize the speed booster in this speed run. And here is the Ridley fight on Farfelu's side. So 30 super missiles, I should say, will take out Farfelu. That's generally the quickest way to take out this particular boss. So chat already discussing kind of the whys and hows and certain questions that we can work on in the post-race interview, time permitting. Farfelu did get a rather dicey decision over Ridley there, but had to go to the missiles to do so, and we have X-ray scope behind Ridley. All right, so Slow Guy going to utilize that gravity suit technique that got him up to the Yellow Meridia area, and utilizes the same to get here to this access to Lower Norfair. So a little more energy on Slow Guy's side, and also that speed booster. We'll see if that was the right call. Farfelu trying to farm back up after being depleted of mostly everything from that Ridley fight. Oh, and Slow Guy going to utilize the speed booster and shine sparks through the crumble block room. Very nice. And now into the worst room in the game. And having a little bit of trouble here. Even with the Varia and gravity suits, every one of those beams, every hit from those pirates, and any of those fireballs shot from the heads on the side take 50 energy damage. And Slow Guy also going to deny me a Mickey Mouse check. I understand, it's a memeable thing. To answer the question in chat, yes, he did turn the gravity suit back on. Otherwise, it would have been 100 energy damage per hit. And yes, we did have a very brief virtual high five there, as now those red key hunters being a little problematic for Farfelu. Yes, exactly. Stuff here just hits hard. That's kind of the long and the short of it. All right, Farfelu is going to head on down and check the Firefly Funhouse. And it has some super missiles, which he's going to take. Now, I think at this point, Farfelu wouldn't mind running into an energy tank here, just a little low, I would imagine, for most people's liking. All right, let's see what is behind the jail. We've got some missiles. They're going to stay right there. As Slow Guy is approaching Ridley here at this point, Farfelu going to head on up to, well, Spring Ball at the Spring Ball Maze missiles. Interesting. Yeah, Spring Doll in this case here. And Three Musketeers missiles are just that. They are their vanilla location. Now, those three key hunters are rather problematic, and, well, that's why they're referred to as the Three Musketeers. Farfelu getting through. Energy a little low, but is going to head back into Upper Norfair as we have the escape here. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and get a couple of checks rather, in the Wave Beam and Wave Missiles locations. And the Wave Missiles have supers, as Slow Guy is taking on Ridley. Coming in with only 30 super missiles, so looking for no misses here. And we have missiles in the Wave Beam spot. Now going to the missiles is Slow Guy, but gets it done. Farfelu gonna not opt to check speed, and instead goes into Norfair Reserve, picks up some missiles there. So that's vanilla. Two more checks behind here in the reserve. Missiles and our fourth reserve tank. French vanilla. So yeah, it looks like Farfelu not going to bother with the speed booster check location for the two items there. And instead is going to go farm. Probably not a terrible idea. Slow Guy not nearly doing the post-battle farming, the post-Ridley farming. Is a little worse for wear with just 131 energy and no reserve tanks. But there is a save point right there. Oh, taking another bit of damage. Not going to go to the save point. Takes another hit of damage. Is one hit away from potential death here. This... Oh, and falls into the spikes! Slow Guy, be careful! Oh, was hoping for an energy tank. Gets the super missiles down there in the Firefly Funhouse. But is definitely playing it risky. Now down to 29 energy. Oh, goodness. One hit from those heads or the fireballs for that matter, I should say, coming from the heads, and that would be a death. Slow Guy looking for energy is not going to find it around here. We know this already. Slow Guy does not. Farfelu, meanwhile. Oh, they only do 50. Oh, why did I think they did 50? I don't know. Either way, it's too close for comfort. That's the long and the short of it. Slow initially ignoring, but it does go back and pick up the spring ball. Oh, those are the weaker version. Okay, I'm thinking of the ones down in Lower Norfair. That's why. Oh, Slow Guy, be careful, please. Oh, doing some consecutive wall jumps just to stay out of the way of that acid and the fire. And Slow Guy seeing more missiles and opting to pick them up here. Probably thinking they're going to be needed for these key hunters to get through. Because if I recall correctly, these red key hunters, it's one and done. I thought they did 50 damage with the Varia suit and gravity suit. Yeah, oof. Oh no! 1 energy point left. How? Oh my goodness. That was a clutch energy pickup. Oh my. Oh wow. Slow Guy going with a bunch of charged ice shots, just hoping that that key hunter does not slide through that gap. Farfelu, meanwhile, is heading up to Yellow Meridia, gonna do the checks there. So that's 2 of the 3 musketeers down. And Slow Guy opting for a power bomb and is just gonna charge shot the rest, but this is extremely dangerous. Oh, no damage, no iframes. Okay. And Slow Guy gets through and gets 20 energy as a drop. Meanwhile, Farfelu doing the ice clip, I believe, and is on to Bot Wound here. Now, Slow Guy gonna head over to... Oh, okay, gets a little bit of energy. Meanwhile, Farfelu grabbing the missiles just after Bot Wound. And Slow Guy is looking forward to this farming. Although it might have been a little easier if you had grabbed the grapple beam, but to each their own. I think after the performance that Slow Guy had just to get through that area with so little energy, who am I to provide any kind of criticism? So we have farming in stereo here. Oh, for these bugs, it's a little bit slower. See, I'm learning new things all along here. I just sound good, but it doesn't necessarily mean my knowledge is good. So, Slow Guy going right into the room and skipping the other check. Picks up the super missile. And there's Screw Attack. Yeah, exactly. Where were you before, right? That would have made things so much easier. So, of course, the game knows, and it gives Slow Guy that advantage after the fact. Meanwhile, Just before Dragon here, we have an energy tank refill. Nice jump to save that verticality there. And Slow Guy opts against the missiles. So Farfelu, meanwhile, is working on the Dragon fight. Make sure to give both of these runners a follow, if for no other reason as they certainly keep things interesting. Be still, my beating heart. Farfelu going with the traditional strats of just firing these super missiles into the belly. And that is going to take out Dragon. Farfelu not even going to bother to check what's behind Dragon. I guess banking on it not being vanilla space jump. So now Slow Guy back into Meridia. Still has the Dragon fight to do. And Farfelu probably figuring, all right, all I've got to do is take out Fantoon and then go for game. So Slow Guy going to give us a couple of checks here as well. We've got missiles and more missiles. Farfelu going to do some farming. And it looks like we're going to see a somewhat uncommon, at least from everything I've gathered and ventured, trip into the rear entrance of the wrecked ship. Slow Guy had taken care of Bot Wound and is now heading on over toward Dragon. Yes, the Forgotten Highway. That's the name of it. Such a great highway that I forgot all about it. So now Farfelu heading on into the maze. Yeah, so you're getting a treat here tonight. One of those, there's something you don't see every day type moments. So Farfelu making the climb and has one more long room to go before entering the back of wrecked ship. Slow Guy, meanwhile, initially was going to pass on the energy tank and opts to take it. A little extra energy doesn't hurt, especially with not too much in the ammunition department. Although I have a hunch that Slow Guy might use these speed strats here. Exactly. At least, well, it won't be a spiky room of death unless he opts to go back, but I have a feeling at this point he may shy away from it. So now here at the Spooky Missiles location on Farfelu's end, and it's vanilla Spooky Missiles. And that's a great point by our restreamer Stratlog. If he doesn't speed kill, there may be grapple regrets. As that grapple beam, when Dragon grabs onto you, you can go ahead and latch on to one of those green electric beams there and essentially shock yourself, but more importantly, shock Dragon. But no concern here as Slow Guy takes out Dragon, and Farfelu, meanwhile, is working on Phantoon. And we do see that it was just missiles behind here. So that takes out the slight hope of vanilla. Oh, and is able to zoom across, keeping that blue suit. Using techniques to which I am not familiar, so I won't even begin to explain it. But I would say check out the Discord for that and more tips here, as Farfelu taking out the final of the 4 bosses, Phantoon. Yes, a reverse halfie is what it's known as. So now at this point, Farfelu is going to do a couple of checks here. Passes on the power bombs. Doesn't even bother going to the right. And just says, all right, that's it. We're getting on out of here. Figures, maybe I'll go ahead and get the mermaid missiles along the way here. Or the mermaid missile check. And it turns out to be vanilla. Slow Guy, meanwhile, going to take the front trek. So there's super missiles at the moat. Yep, a little bit of a high five there. And Farfelu gonna hop into the ship here, get an energy replen, an ammo replen, and I would imagine go for game here. And I imagined wrong. Is Farfelu now going to go ahead and do the gauntlet check that Slow Guy did much earlier on in this race, and going all the way through, theoretically get 15 more super missiles, potentially for the Mother Brain battle? As Slow Guy now picks up these spooky missiles in the wrecked ship. I think Farfelu did that check early on in the back of Gauntlet, so knows that there are more super missiles. But is only going to be able to get one of them. But that notwithstanding, looks like 35 missiles and 70 super missiles at 55 minutes in. Farfelu is going to be the first in Tutorian. Slow Guy, meanwhile, working on Fantoon, the last of the 4 bosses before unlocking access to Mother Brain. Ice being very helpful here, as all you have to do is hit some ice and a super missile, and that will freeze those Metroids and take them out. We've got 3 in this, or 2 in this room, I should say. And takes out the 3 in this room. 1 more room with 3 of them in it. Now, if you don't have ice, the other alternative, which is a little more time-consuming, is what you see here, dropping 3 power bombs. Slow Guy, meanwhile, has taken out Fantoon. And apart from some potential searches, might just be making his way over to Torian as well. Oh, but it looks like he's going to do some extra checks here. And we've got some supers off to the right. Now that energy is not necessarily a concern, but it makes you think a little bit. Contemplate, perhaps. There is a reserve tank, though, on Farfelu's side. Slow Guy opted not to pick up any of the reserve tanks, so that is an advantage on Farfelu's side. So here we go into the save booth first. And not able to get the Z first time around. It's going to opt to reset the room here. Slow Guy, meanwhile, is booking it to Torian. It's a damage boost thing and does get it. But a lot of damage was taken in the process. So not much margin for error going into this Mother Brain fight. And a death or two here, and that'll bring Slow Guy right back into it. So the first phase of Mother Brain done. 60 supers is what's needed. And roughly 150 energy damage is the window. Very meticulously putting the shots in. Now we're on to the catch-up phase, the last phase here. But it looks like Farfelu has gotten through. So here comes the rainbow beam. And now we have the cutscene, and at this point, only something going abysmally wrong in the escape from Torian is keeping Farfelu from victory. Slow Guy, meanwhile, in the baby room. Probably a few minutes behind at this point. There's the energy refill on Farfelu's side. Slow Guy trying for the baby skip. And gets it. Now, Music, our tracker, noting that Slow Guy's ammo is a little on the light side. Meanwhile, here are the rainbow beams on Farfelu's end, working on finishing off Mother Brain. And then it's just the matter of the escape. But yes, chat noting that we'll be seeing Slow Guy using some charged shots, and that takes time. And unlike the famous Rolling Stones song, time is not on his side. Misses the first attempted Zeb skip. Meanwhile, here is the escape on Farfelu's side. No speed booster, so he's going to have to take the long way around. Now the Zeb skip is successful, and Slow Guy is on phase 1 of Mother Brain. Slow Guy now onto phase 2. Farfelu climbing up onto the escape, about to hit the tower in Criteria. Climbing up the left side of the wall. That's a little unconventional. I have no complaints with it. I tend to jump easier from that side as well. Gets up there pretty swiftly. Just has to dodge the steam. Not bothering with the animals. Can't say as I blame you. And that is going to do it. Get out your GGs in chat, as farfelu is going to take first place in this race and move on to a 2-1 record here in the Swiss rounds with an official SRL time of 64 minutes and 11 seconds. Oh no, meanwhile, Slow Guy has taken a death. Is going to continue, though. And I want to thank SMRAT for helping with the early part of the restream, but has some IRL obligations, so Redemption taking SMRAT's place. So we do appreciate her stepping in here. Yes, we are definitely going to want to hear from Slow about the key hunters and how almost everyone's heart skipped a beat during that. Yeah, and about going to Meridia first. That is that's one of the other questions here. So we have some charge shots being fired, unloading the missiles first. And we'll see if we can get farfelu in here for a victory interview here on Speedrunners Arena. Now, as Slow Guy is working on the fight here, I'm also curiously taking a look to see where some of the other items that could have assisted may have been. Interview should be a go when farfelu's ready. And it looks like we have farfelu in the broadcast booth here. Congratulations and GG, moving to 2-1.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, this was very interesting, and especially with the early finds. I mean, what's going through your mind as early on? You see charge, you see ice. You kind of see, you see Varia pretty quickly, and you just see things starting to come together. What's your mindset as far as, oh man, I've got to book it here?
Yes. Well, speaking of charge, there's been a while since I played with that sprite. I've got some trouble at the beginning adjusting the damage boost, the wall jumps, but well, it came back pretty good. And yes, for those suits, pretty early, the main idea was to clear Ridley and Meridia as soon as possible to just go back. I knew I was in go mode with the ice beam. In fact, I was in what we would call ammo mode. I was just searching for ammo at the end. It's a good thing I scout at the beginning those 10 supers at the end of Gauntlet, so it helped for Murder Brain.
Yeah, Slow Guy took a little bit of a different path, and upon getting the bombs early on, decided to infinite bomb jump up to landing PB and the Gauntlet, and got the Gauntlet out of the way early. So that was one difference as far as your variance in pathing. Another was, once you had both gotten both suits, the Varia and Gravity suits, you opted to go down to Lower Norfair and get Ridley out of the way. Slow Guy opted to go to Meridia first and ultimately ended up finding the speed booster in the left sand pit and then went down, perhaps thinking that would aid in traversing through a lot of the seed.
Yeah, probably. I thought about going to Meridia first too, because I was short on E-Tank. I think I had 4. I knew I was capable of doing this, but maybe it took a little more time, but the counterpart is Lower Norfair is you can say the farthest place from the ship and the end of the game. So I just decided to clear it first to never go back down to Norfair.
And that ultimately ended up being the play, as Slow Guy has utilized the Rainbow Beam to take out Mother Brain and now just has the escape. It'll be a little bit quicker for him since he does have the speed booster as well as the screw attack. So that will
Yeah,
make getting through some of those enemies a little bit easier. So all in all, it'll probably be about a 6.5 to 7 minute difference between the two of you.
yeah. I just joined the restream. I saw. I think he got a KO at Mother Brain. It could have been much closer. I think.
Yes, as you were finishing, he did take a death, and we weren't sure whether, upon seeing the dot done, whether Slow Guy was going to continue or just stop there. But figured, all right, I've come this far, I may as well finish it up, and is doing just that.
Yeah, with that kind of ammo, it could have been harder with Mother Brain. That's why I took the detour for Norfair and Gauntlet.
Yeah, there were some interesting detours that were taken, and even a few heart wrenching moments. You'll go back and be able to see it, but at one point, Slow Guy was down to 1 energy getting through the Three Musketeers room.
Yeah, that room is pretty tough without screw attack. I don't know if he found it after or before that room, but I had pretty much trouble too for that room before, so that's why I decided to farm super missiles after Ridley.
Well, it turned out that he did find it after, so that made it more dangerous. And Slow Guy has finished. GG's in chat. Slow Guy going to go to 1 and 2, but certainly with a respectable time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 56 seconds. A difference here of just 6 minutes and 45 seconds between our two runners. And we have Slow Guy in the green room, who will be hearing from him momentarily as well. It'll be interesting to see just some of the differences and choices and whatnot. One of you I think you went down Red Tower when you first went across it. Slow Guy decided to go up. So there were a couple of little nuanced decisions that happened to have made a little bit of a difference. So even though he had found a couple of things that you hadn't, but I guess your routing may have been a little bit different. So it was very interesting to see kind of back and forth. There was a little bit of trouble early on with getting the charge from the ceiling, and that was something that we initially thought, oh, is that going to be the difference? And then it turned out there were about 6 other things that were the difference, as Slow Guy joins us here in the broadcast booth as well. GG, a gallant effort, 6 minute and 45 second difference.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the beams were removed from my game. I was counting on them.
Well, I was doing a little bit of look. It looks like if there was a bit of a climb in wrecked ship, which neither of you had done. Let's see, Wave Beam was up in the gravity suit area, as was the space jump, and let's see, Spazer was in the Criteria super missiles. It says here, and then the plasma was at the grapple beam missile, so that would have been all the way down in Croc area for the always bet on Croc folks.
Yeah, I was counting on those. I wasn't picking up any ammo and ended up shooting me in the foot in Lower Norfair.
But I think the question that is on a lot of our viewers' minds here, take us through that Three Musketeer room.
So they're immune to missiles and I believe regular shots, although it sounded like the ice shots were hitting them. But I didn't realize, I was like, oh, I only have 1 super as I got like out of Fire Fleas. So I didn't really have much of a choice. Going back and farming would have taken just as long.
Yeah, and that I think was one of the differences. Farfelu, after the Ridley fight, did opt to farm up some energy as well as the super missiles, and that ended up being a I guess crucial decision.
Yep. Actually, when I went down into Lower Norfair, I thought, oh, I should have grabbed that grapple beam that was next to speed. That would have been good for farming. And then forgot all about those three musketeers. And then finding screw attack right after I got back to Upper Norfair was just really icing on that cake.
that had to have been a proverbial kick in the teeth. Is like, oh, I go through all of this, and I could have had this. I find this, just after the fact. Where were you 5 minutes ago, game? One of those kind of things.
Yeah, it was seriously like 4 or 5 rooms away, something like that. Technically,
Yeah, I believe that the screw attack was at what was it? Was it speed booster missiles?
yeah, yep. No,
And
I knew
yeah,
I had to be behind. I knew my only hope was that if Farfelu went through Rick's ship and full cleared it and found nothing useful. That was my only hope after I went through that Three Musketeers.
well, I mean, while neither of you went through Rex ship, you certainly would have been rewarded if you had. The gravity suit location held the wave beam. Space jump was at the gravity missiles. So yeah, those were two. Those would have been your two finds up there that would have helped in at least some capacity. But it looked like in both cases the Spazer and Plasma were pretty well hidden. The Spazer was speed locked in the super missiles there, I believe at climb supers or tower supers, and Plasma was all the way down in Croc's area.
Yep, I should have just gone ahead and picked up the supers, but with that early charge, I really didn't want to, and I waited too long to make the decision to pick up ammo.
Yeah, well, there was so much that was coming at you in such a short period of time. I mean, the first 15 minutes you had charge, you had ice, you had the Varia suit. Gravity was not too long after that, and you're thinking, "Man, I'm in ammo and go mode here." So I mean, it was almost too much at you too quickly for both of our runners to kind of, all right, well, where do I go next? Yeah, those are kind of, I guess, the questions that. I mean, what do you think when you see that much at you at that short of a period of time?
My new theory is that early charge is a good way to ruin a run. Ignore it. Don't pay any attention to the fact that you have it unless you've already found plasma. Otherwise, just ignore it. Because this is not, by far, not the first seed that's given me early charge and then hidden all the useful beams far, far away. It's just like that's just how it works.
That's just the game knowing and the game being the game. Rando gonna rando.
Yep.
All right, so Farfelu, you moved to 2-1, and Slow Guy moved to 1-2. But there's certainly still a lot of action as the weeks are going here in terms of the Swiss rounds. Any thoughts, kind of heading almost to the midway point of the Swiss rounds?
No, just GG Farfelu, and I hope to see you in brackets.
Thank you. Same for me. And thank you, Firon, for commenting. And sorry, I don't see tracking. Music. I don't know how to say it. Well, thank you for your time. And thank you for watching.
Yes, and thank you to the team. Farfelu is one of our runners here. SMRAT took the majority of the restream, but then had to take care of something IRL. So Redemption coming out of the bullpen to close out the game in a sense here, to use a baseball analogy. But we do thank you all for joining us here at Speedrunners Arena. Make sure to give both of our runners a follow. They gave you a heck of a race here tonight. And also make sure to show some love to the folks behind the scenes, the restreamers, SMRAT and Redemption, as well as our tracker Music. For everybody here at Speedrunners Arena, I'm Ferran Bergen. Until next time, stay classy, my friends, and more importantly, stay safe. We're now going to send the raid on over to Chembass, and we hope that you stick around, and we look forward to seeing you. Looks like tomorrow we've got a few races set up here among the Speedrunners Arena networks for more of the SMRAT tournament. Good night, everyone.